Welcome back to the Weekend Primetime. Tonight, we are getting a first-hand account of the conditions inside the controversial immigration detention center in the Florida Everglades. That's been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Today, a group of Democratic lawmakers were given what they called a sanitized tour of the facility, which they compared to an, quote, internment camp. It comes as major questions are being raised about the safety and the conditions inside, including a report in the Associated Press that there are worms in the food and wastewater on the floor. Congress members Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Maxwell Frost were two of the lawmakers who were able to go inside. Here's what they had to say after.
The conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling.
We saw humans being held in cages. You heard it from Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. 32 people per cage, 3 toilets in each cage for these 32 people, and their drinking water comes from the toilet.
And joining us now is Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost, one of the lawmakers you just heard from there. Congressman Frost, thank you for joining us this evening. First, I want you to paint a picture for us of what it was like inside this facility, the sights, the sounds, the smells. But also, given that Democrats are describing this as a sanitized tour, what do you think happened in the days, the hours leading up to the moment at which you got access to this site?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. I mean, this was a very heartbreaking and emotionally draining day, seeing other humans being held in cages. 32 people per cage, only 3 toilets per cage. When they opened that door, and they didn't let us fully in, but they let us just stand at the door. I heard people yelling for help. In the background, I heard one gentleman yell, "I'm a U.S. citizen." I heard people begging for us to contact their family. Someone said, "Please get my mom, tell her I'm okay." And then at the end, while we were walking out, they all started chanting, "Libertad, libertad, freedom, freedom." And when I was looking at those cages, I saw myself. I saw people my age, people who looked exactly like me. And so I'm ashamed as a Floridian, and every Floridian should be ashamed that our taxpayer dollars are being used to create this internment camp for immigrants. What were the sites? What were the fields where it was incredibly hot? I mean, when we walked into that and we saw the gentlemen in the cages, they were sweating. You could tell there was the smell in the air of so many people being pushed together like that. There were so many mosquitoes and bugs, and people talk a lot about the gators here, but sometimes the deadliest thing you can encounter in Florida is actually a mosquito carrying some sort of sickness or something like that, or bacteria that can get to you. Tons of mosquitoes. Even talking to the staff, I spoke with the van driver who was driving us around, and he said, "I get bit up every day." And that's one of the staff members. These conditions are horrible. This place needs to be shut down. It's nothing more than a stunt, but it's a stunt that's using real humans, real people. And I'm just very ashamed, and I'm disgusted sitting here right now, having come from that facility.
But to be clear, because you've described it as this sanitized tour, are you saying that you think the officials there did something? Like, you're describing what already sounds like inhumane conditions. But are you suggesting this must have been better than what is regularly going on at this site?
Exactly. What we saw was abhorrent. What we saw are horrible conditions. And this was the sanitized version. This is the version where they had 4 to 5 days to clean up, to get things ready. You know, we have been communicating through their lawyers. We've heard stories of people there at the facility. In fact, I pulled up to this facility, and I want to show you. I pulled up to this facility with a binder full of questions, but also with pictures, with testimonies from my constituents that are being held in there. And something we heard last night from some folks is magically they finally got a shower. Magically, the food got a little better. So this is them sanitizing things in preparation for this tour. We actually planned to go this morning about a week ago unannounced. And somehow somehow that information got to the governor's office and they decided to invite us to come. But what they have to realize is we don't need their permission. It is in the law. Members of Congress can enter these facilities at any time, and I will be back at a time of my choosing, at a date of my choosing, to see things how they really are. But what you said is important. This was the sanitized version, and it was still 32 people in a cage, not getting enough food, flies and bugs in the air. Literally, and I had mentioned this before, you have 3 toilets, and connected to the toilet on the top is a spigot, and that's how they drink their water.
You've talked about
the sanitized version. Imagine what's going on a day-to-day basis when we're not there.
You've talked, Congressman, about the need to shut this down. I'm wondering how you see that happening. What are your Republican colleagues? Do any of them have any of them expressed the same concerns that you have about the humanitarian conditions there? And what, if anything, can be done to try and shut this down?
Well, number one, us exercising our congressional oversight is really important. Us going there today was important, but we need to come back and announce, and we will come back. I'm also going to be advocating on behalf of my constituents there, and hopefully we'll meet with them in person next time we're at the facility. I'm going to be speaking with more Democrats on the Oversight Committee to see about possibly doing a hearing so we can uplift this even more. There's a lawsuit right now that many organizations are engaged in. They're tackling this from the environmental aspect of things. The state has said that the federal government has said that they have nothing to do with the facility. But while we were in there, I have firsthand accounts and quotes right here told by the people leading this facility that the federal government and ICE are calling the shots and telling them where to place things and telling them how to do everything. And so we're going to work up a brief. We're going to work up all this information in a way that people can digest and understand it. And we hope it'll help with litigation. It'll help with continued oversight work. And we also know that this, Everglades internment camp is indicative of a larger thing going on right now, where we have ICE that's just been given $150 billion, more money than the United States Marine Corps, to export the terror of our communities across the entire country. So we're going to continue to fight against that. But I'll tell you, us exercising our ability to conduct oversight and shine a light on this, I think is one of the most important things members of Congress can do right now.
Congressman Frost, you touched on something that is my very basic question here, which is who is in charge? I spoke with an attorney for a man who is in Alligator Alcatraz yesterday, and she said that her client actually has authorization to be here in the United States. He's an immigrant, but he has authorization to be here. And she has struggled to get him out because when she talks to ICE, ICE says, we're not in charge, the state has him. When she talks to the state says, we're not in charge, ICE has him, which puts him in this basically Kafkaesque limbo where she doesn't even know which court to approach to try to get him out on bond. So who is actually running this facility?
We got some answers on this because this whole hot potato situation, they're doing it to avoid legal liability. And that's why the litigation is so important, because at the end of this, we'll have a defined answer. But this is what I was told by Kevin Guthrie, who is the director of the Florida Department of Emergency Management, which they're managing this whole thing. The state is handling the logistics. They have paid for the creation of this internment camp, but the detainees there are still detained by ICE. So it is a federal detention facility operated by the state government. And this is something that they tried to get around. And I actually brought it up multiple times to a point of clarification, and they continued to clarify it for me. But there's something else I want to bring up that I think is really important. When we were driving around this facility, I didn't even see a lot of law enforcement officers. You know what I saw? Private security companies everywhere. Like the whole thing is run by private companies. I saw a few folks with the National Guard outside. I saw a few folks from the State Guard around, sprinkled around. But most of what I saw were people who were essentially rent-a-cops, like no different than if you would go to a concert or go to a ball game and you see private security there. Those are the people who are essentially running most of the operation and interacting with the immigrants and detainees on a daily basis. Think about that. Usually you have federal officers who have gone through some extensive training in this field, and right now it's being run by private security officers.
Incredible.
Congressman Maxwell Frost, thank you so much for joining us and sharing even that sanitized tour testimony with us.